Are you ready for a prophetic adventure? Are you ready for extreme faith combined with extreme sport? This is Prayer Walk, where we follow a courageous woman that has set out to walk all across the borders of Norway to pray for the land. And yes, the nature and the weather in Norway is not tamed, so this is going to be a real challenge. And if you want to follow that journey, then I will be reporting on the real struggles, the tears, the challenges, the joys, the blessings and breakthroughs every Sunday. So stay tuned. Hello, fellow brothers and sisters. I am so excited to start this show. We've been planning it for a long time. It was one of the first shows that was planned, actually. But things had to be set in motion and put in the right places. And, God is just working the way that He does. But now we are starting. And we are starting because our prayer walker, Janne Christine, she's already started walking. And so I just have to follow on and report on the things that are happening. And boy, there are so many things that I want to share with you. So I hope that you will find this exciting. And it's not about talking about some person walking around doing something. This is something that we do to engage you, to engage people not only in Norway, but around the world, to make a difference, to make a commitment to do something for God and to be radical in their faith in a good way. This is peaceful. This is not the bad kind of radical thing, but it's about being all for God and doing what it takes to get His favor, to get His blessings, and to see His breakthroughs. So that is what we're gonna share and focus on, and I am, as I said, very excited about it. Now, Janne Christine, she is a woman from Norway. She's 53 years old, so she's not that young any longer, and in the natural, it wouldn't be right for her to decide that, okay, I'm gonna be walking all around the borders of Norway. That's not the common thing to do. And especially when you're older than 40 years, and it's cold here. And the mountains are high, and it's snow, and it's rainy, and it's a very, very challenging area. We get tourists to our country all the time. They want to see our beautiful nature. And it is beautiful indeed. But they don't expect it to be that challenging. They see the pictures and it looks nice, and they're sitting perhaps in a country where it's warm and cozy and they could go to the beach and everything is nice. But it is a reality that the Norwegian nature and also the weather is not tamed. It is not secured so that nobody will get hurt, and it's just the real thing. And that is what Janne Christine will have to face. But luckily, she is used to this. She has been prepared for this for a long, long time. Now, I will go into why she decided to do this and how all of this started. But before that, I'd like to share with you something that is, in the tradition of Norwegians. You see, there is an old tradition of going to church on Sundays. And I'm sure that goes for so many other countries. It hasn't been the strongest tradition these days, but from old times it definitely was. And then we had another tradition that was even perhaps stronger, and that is to walk for a trip, like have a personal family adventure on Sundays. And Norwegians, they are pretty much famous for liking to hike and walk. Walk in the mountains, walk in the forest. I mean, we got so much of it. And behind me you can hear the sounds, pretty much what we are used to. We love the nature. Going out and just being free and hear the silence and the nothingness of just the peace that we find in the creation that God has made. And I realize that we are very lucky in Norway. We have a lot of space and we have the opportunity to do this so easily. And so because of that, well, I suppose it is because of that, a lot of people, huge trends, really had the tradition of walking for a trip every Sunday. And it could be a long trip. It could be for hours and hours and hours. And the goal was to get to a certain place and have a piece of chocolate and perhaps an orange and drink something and just enjoy the nature and the exercise of the body and just have this kind of adventure spirit in peace. And I've been to other countries that has so incredibly nice weather, and people don't go outside and walk. If they're gonna go for just maybe 1 kilometer, they take the bus, and the sun is shining and everything is nice, and they take the bus. And for a Norwegian, that is kind of like, what's up? I mean, even our kindergarten kids, they go outside, even if it's pouring down, if it's cold, if it's any kind of weather. There is no bad weather, only bad cleather. That's the saying. And we really like this. We have it close to our heart. And it was dedicated to the Sundays because then people had the opportunity to really go out. Usually they would go as a family, but sometimes also it was organized in groups and, in cottages and mountains dedicated for that, and so much culture around this. But then, now that we are starting prayer walk, this prophetic adventure, which is what it is, I decided to do this on Sundays because then it would be combining the tradition of Sunday church going and focus on God, and the Sunday walk that is also such a strong tradition in the nation. So now you may do both. You may start having a walk, a trip for the family on Sundays, and focus on God. Pray as you walk, and when you sit down to rest, have a snack and bless the Father. I mean, how much more amazing can it be? So that's my thought. And then I had an input from my friend George, that is the one that is editing these audio files that I make. And he told me that there is a famous prayer walker around in the world. His name is Henry Groover. And we had no idea of this. We just had our project, and Janne Christine had her calling to walk, and to walk not only a little bit, but really walk all around the borders of Norway and on strategic positions such as the big mountain areas in the center of Norway, which is called Rondane and Dovre. And this is the area where she has started. And she's going up there on Tuesday again. She's been up on Högronden, which is more than 2,000 meters high. And she planted a tent peg, and I'll go into the details of those kind of things. And it was a powerful trip. She feels so connected to God when walking and doing this. And it is like a spiritual walk. She is going into a territory to take it. And And on Tuesday she's going back up again to go to Snøhetta and different places. But we had this thing and we were planning it and working on it, and then my friend George told me about Henry Groover, which was doing prayer walk and had been doing that for decades. And we found that very interesting. Oh, okay, good, nice. And then a little bit later, George told me that, wow, you know, this prayer walker, he found out that his father was indeed Norwegian and his mother was Scottish. So there seems to be something about Norwegians and walking. I'm not saying that's the reason why he started prayer walking, but even that pointed back to this nation. So there is definitely a culture for this walking thing, and we're gonna take it to the extreme. To be honest, it's not we are gonna take it to the extreme, because I'm gonna be sitting in my warm and cozy office every Sunday, and I'm not gonna even go out my front door, but I will be reporting on Janne Christine, and she will be the one out in the field doing the real thing. So I am excited to follow the journey. It was really, really inspiring to get messages and pictures and videos from the last time she was up in the mountains. And we will continue doing that and start to spread it and share it with others as well, because this is, you know, touching the elements and you know, this battle in the spirit on the pulse. So just, well, I hope, that is my hope, that this will not only open the eyes of new ways of working and co-working with God, but also that it will inspire the creativity and the initiatives of ordinary people to start doing something that they feel God has called them to. And with my friend Bart playing a little bit of campfire guitar in the background, I will tell you also a little bit about how Janne Christine came to the thought of starting Prayer Walk. I will go into more details next time, but this is kind of like just introducing the concept and you know, giving the big outline of it. Basically, Janne Christine was divorced. She was a believer and she got divorced. And then she felt really, really, really bad about herself. She felt that she had, well, disappointed God in such a way that she could never do anything. But she decided, and she thought to herself, you know, that I can walk, I can pray and walk, because she had a dog and it was natural for her to walk, and she loved walking and she loved the nature and the mountains and all of that. And so she said in her own thoughts that I can walk and I can pray for people and I can pray for places nobody has to know, and this will be my way of serving God. And her thought was that no one would want to be associated with her or use her in a way for God, because she had been divorced. And so she started walking and she prayed, and as she did that, God started giving her input and well, the thought and the idea of walking more. And she told me that it was as if she heard him say that you will walk all across Norway and you will pray for the land. things like that. And well, I suppose she felt a little bit like, that's, a little bit over the top. But it kept coming. And she had dreams, and she had, so many experiences of waking up in her warm and comfortable home, sleeping at night, and then waking up in the middle of the night, just having this sensation that I gotta go out. I have to be in the mountains. I have to go out and pray. I can't stay here any longer. Like an animal in a cage, like it was wrong to be that person in that ordinary, traditional, stereotyped life, because it was not what the spirit inside of her was calling her to. And this went on for years, and in incredible ways she was connected with me and others, and she had prophecies of these things. And well, it's been amazing to see how God has been putting us together and planning this in such a delicate way. You could come to faith only by that, by seeing these coincidences, which are absolutely not possible to be coincidences, because it's just too much of the good connections that are, not natural to happen. And so by that, I hope I've given an introduction to this adventure, to this journey in a way that will give you a clue of what's gonna come. And I'll be back next Sunday and report on, well, I'm not sure. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Of course, I have to follow what she's doing up in the mountains, but at the same time, I also have to cover the backstory of how did this come together. So next time I will be going deeper into this. How did this start? How did we meet? And how did this really happen? So until then, I hope you will have a blessed week. I will be back on Saturday with Spirit Talk. That is Saturday on the same time of the day as this, which means 10 a.m. in California, 1 p.m. in Florida, 18 o'clock in the evening in UK, London, and 19 o'clock in the evening in Central Europe. And the same times I will be on Sunday with the next section of Prayer Walk, and I'm really looking forward to that. Now, in 10 minutes about that, I will go over to having this prayer walk show in Norwegian, because this is about engaging the local people as well. And so for those that prefer Norwegian, then it will be available in that language just for you. And all of these programs will of course be stored in our archives on the website. So that is freelegions.com. And if you get excited about this and you want to be a part of it in some kind of way, then absolutely go to our website, freelegions.com, because there are so many ways where you can get engaged, even in the prayer walk. And we also have Free Legions at Facebook, where there's a lot of other things are being posted, more like immediate and spontaneous. And if you like this, join the team. And this music comes from Bart den Hertog from Netherlands. He's my friend, and you can find him or his stuff at thefunkybassist.com. And until next time, have a blessed week. See you then.